If it feels good to you, you could close your eyes. If it feels better to you, you could leave your eyes open. So find what feels best to you as you begin to really pay attention to your experience in this seated posture. And then really begin to focus on what you feel. You can feel the support of the earth beneath you. You can sense the area that's occupied by your mat. You can sense the space around you. You can take a moment to notice what you feel in your body, what draws your attention, what places feel really good, what places could use some TLC. Notice what's going on in your mind. And I invite you just to watch the activity of your mind without judgment, without needing to change anything. Let the activity of your mind be part of your experience in this pose. And then begin to pay attention to your breath. And again, beginning just by noticing the length of inhalation, the length of exhalation, relative depth, relative ease. And after a few breath cycles, you can notice whether one phase of your breath feels a little longer or easier than the other. And if you notice a difference, turn your attention to the phase of breath that feels a little shorter. Just by shifting your attention, you can invite that shorter phase of breath to lengthen and match the longer. And once you feel that your breath is even, you can begin to recruit your Ujjayi Pranayama, tongue resting just lightly behind your top two front teeth, a little lift at your soft palate, a little softening of chin towards the hollow at the top of your breastbone. And we begin to create a whispering sound that both extends your breath, gives it a little bit more energy, and captures your attention. One of my teachers always says that the breath is the intelligence of the body. So we can listen to and tap into our breath and let it inform our movement as we make our way through our practice. So continuing to breathe with your Ujjayi Pranayama. We'll be here for a few more moments, maybe intensifying it a little bit, maybe lengthening it a little bit. And somewhere in your next few breaths, I'll invite you to extend your left leg out to the side. You can point your toes up. You kind of tuck your right foot into your left upper inner thigh. Let's just take a moment here to hinge forward, going slow. And I'm already feeling a stretch here. So don't feel like you have to go right to your deepest edge right away. We'll kind of melt into this shape, invite some opening. And let our breath inform the movement. Gradually, as you continue to feel a little space open up in your left inner thigh, your left hamstrings, as you feel a little space open up in your spine and your back, you might walk your hands out in front. You might even allow your forehead to round down towards the floor. And we can take one more exhalation here. As you inhale, you'll walk your way upright. And then ground down through your sitting bones, reach up through your crown. As you exhale, take this into a twist to the right. So your belly will turn, your ribs will turn, your chest and shoulders will turn. You can reach your right hand back behind you. Left hand might even find the outside of your right knee. And you can turn your head, maybe even look all the way into your right peripheral vision, give your eyes a stretch. We can take one more exhalation here. As you inhale, you'll unwind your twist. Let's turn now to face the left leg. So we'll try to square spine right along your left leg and then walk down into a forward fold here. And again, you don't have to go to your deepest edge right away. We'll begin to invite ourselves deeper into this pose, and eventually you might allow your spine to round. Eventually your hands might walk out towards your foot. We can take one more exhalation here. You'll inhale, walk your way upright, and find a counter pose. Circle your right arm up and back behind you. You can press your right hand into the floor behind your right hip, roll your right shoulder back, lift your heart, lift your left arm. This could be your pose. If you'd like to go a little farther, power it up. You can press into your left heel, press into your right shin, and lift your hips right up and off the floor. Let's enjoy one more big inhalation in this back bend. And now we can turn this into a vinyasa. So you'll exhale, float your hips down to the floor, turn towards your left leg, and back. And this is the exhalation. Your inhalation will take you into your back bend. You'll circle your right arm up and back, lift your left, maybe lift your hips. Exhaling to forward fold. Inhaling to lift and back bend. One more time through this little flow. We'll exhale and forward fold. We'll inhale and lift. Finally, you can exhale, release your hips back down to the floor, and let's switch sides. So we'll take the right foot out to the side. You then take your left foot to your right upper inner thigh. Kind of walk your sitting bones back a little bit. This may already feel like a stretch. You can take your fingers behind you if you like and use that for some leverage. And after a few breaths, maybe it feels good to walk your hands forward. Maybe it feels good to round your spine forward. We'll give ourselves a few breaths here to let the back body open up. Right inner thigh, right hamstrings. And each breath might carry you a little deeper into this forward fold. Beautiful. As you inhale, you're going to walk your way upright. Let's sit tall. You're rooting through your sitting bones, lifting through your crown. And then as you exhale, you can spiral around that central axis of your spine, turning belly, turning ribs, turning chest and shoulders. Right hand could find the outside of your left knee. You can even turn your head and look all the way back over your left shoulder, even taking your eyes into your peripheral vision for a stretch in your eyes. Beautiful. Your next inhalation can unwind this twist, and your exhalation will turn you towards your right leg. Let's bow forward, Janu Shavasana. Again, no need to go right to your deepest edge. We're just getting started. But you may find that with each subsequent breath, you can go a little farther. Getting a little length and extension and expansion with the inhalation. Getting a little release and rounding with the exhalation. One more out breath here. As you inhale, you'll walk your way upright. And now we'll circle. Left arm up and back. You can press your left hand into the floor, lift your heart, lift your right arm. You guys are on your own for this one, lifting your hips, but your hips can come up and off the floor here too. Nice. Turning this into the vinyasa. As you exhale, windmill your arms towards your right leg, forward fold. And as you inhale, let the in-breath float you up into the back bend. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling to lift. One more time through this little flow. Your breath might be a little faster or a little slower than mine. Follow the breath that suits your personal rhythm. And finally, you can release both hands back down to the mat. Let's extend both legs out in front. You can massage your knees, point and flex your toes a few times, rock your toes side to side. From here, we'll shift our weight over to one hip. You can bend your knees, keep your feet out beside you, and we'll rock over to hands and knees. So placing yourself for cat and cow, hands under or a little forward of your shoulders, knees under your hips. And the inhalation will give you the spinal extension. So you can let the in-breath begin. And with the beginning of the inhalation, we feel a lifting of sitting bones, extension of spine, lifting of heart and head. And as you exhale, you can ground into the floor with what's on the floor and hug your belly in. Inhaling to lift and lengthen. Exhaling to round. One more time. We'll inhale, lift, and lengthen. One more time, exhale and round. The next time you inhale and lift and lengthen, left foot reaches back, right hand reaches forward. We'll exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale and reach. Exhale, knee to elbow. Hug your belly in nice and strong. Inhale, reach. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, reach. Pause here. So here you can bend your left knee and start to press your left foot up towards the ceiling. So we're getting a little more extension in the left hip. Lots of lift and stability in the core. Lots of work in your hamstrings. This could be your pose. You can also reach back with your right hand. Find your left ankle. Draw the bone, lifting any little bit higher. Check your breath. They said breath is the intelligence of the body. If your breath starts to get strained, that might mean you're forcing your posture. See if you can back off a little bit. We'll inhale. Left hand or left foot reaches back, right hand reaches forward. Exhale, take it back to your hands and knees. And we can take some circles here. So you'll take your hips around one direction. Take your hips around the other direction. Come back to all fours. Come back to cat and cow, lifting and lengthening on the in-breath. Hugging up and in and rounding on the out-breath. Inhale to lift. Exhale to round. One more time, inhale to lift. One more time, exhale to round. The next time you lift, you can take right leg back and left hand forward. I'm modifying here to protect my wrist, but you'll be planted into your right palm. And as you exhale, hug knee towards elbow. As you inhale, extend. You'll exhale, hug in. Inhale, extend. One more time, exhale, hug in. Inhale, extend. Let's stay here. Hug your belly in, nice and strong and stable. Lift your right thigh any little bit higher. Bend your knee. Plant your footprint on the ceiling. This could be your pose. You could reach your left hand back. You could bend your right knee a little more. Find your ankle. And then press your foot into your hand. Lift any little bit higher. Stay with your breath. Notice your breath. If the breath starts to get a little ragged, if you find yourself holding your breath, maybe there's something you could soften in your posture. It's a little bit of effort you could let go of. You'll inhale, reach hand and foot forward and back. Exhale, taking hand and knee back down to the floor. Return to your circle, circling around one way, circling around the other. And finally, plant your hands for downward facing dog. You can flex your feet, tuck your toes, hugging your belly in, lifting sitting bones. Lift your knees off the floor and press back. Knees stay bent at first. You're bent in your knees, hinged in the hips, and then extend your legs. You can let your head and neck hang. Once you get to your downward facing dog, try walking it up. You can bend one knee, bend the other. You can try bending both knees or rolling your shoulders or shifting side to side. So a few moments for exploration in down dog. And then a few moments for being still in down dog. So what does it feel like once you've made those movements? Find the down dog that suits you. Settle in here. And it's not dull. It's vibrant. There's still movement. There's movement of breath. There's movement of energy. From here, you can start to walk your feet forward towards your hands. Take a slow stroll. We'll roll heel to toe as we walk forward to standing forward fold. When you find your standing forward fold, you'll bend your knees. Bring your fingers into the back of your knees. My kids would call these their knee pits. Bring your fingers into your knee pits. And then you'll massage up into the bottom of your hamstring, so a little above the knee. And you can massage down to the top of your calf, just below your knee. Getting a little massage just behind the knee, giving us hopefully a chance to lengthen the backs of our legs a little bit more the next time we forward fold. So finally, we'll reach our hands down towards the floor. You can take your hands maybe 6 inches or so in front of your toes, really encouraging your weight towards the balls of your feet and the fronts of your heel bones. And then press into your feet. Begin to lift your hips. We're hinging deeply at the hip. Pelvis spills forward. Maybe your low belly even stays resting on your thighs. You can let your head hang, and you can firm your quadriceps. Even if your legs are not all the way straight, and they do not need to be all the way straight here. Think about firming your quadriceps, lifting your kneecaps. Think about lifting sitting bones up and away from your heels, and deepening your forward fold in that way. Give yourself 2 more long, slow breaths here. Maybe each exhalation draws you a little bit deeper into the forward fold. When you inhale, you'll soften your knees, plant into your feet, rise all the way up to standing. Let's reach our arms up and overhead. You can exhale, bring your hands behind you, and we're going to march in place. So you can bring your hands behind you, fingers pointing back, marching in place. See if you can tap your fingers with your heels. You're trying to keep your knee under your hip. You're trying to use hamstrings and glutes here. And in so doing, we're using the principle of reciprocal inhibition. And that is when you contract the muscle on one side of a joint, the muscle on the other side of the joint lengthens. It automatically relaxes. So when you use your hamstrings, your quads automatically relax. Likewise, when you use your quads, your hamstrings automatically relax. Nice. So when you've done this an equal number of times on each side, you can come back to stand on both feet. We'll stand at the top of our mat. You can inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, hinge forward. You can inhale and lift, half forward fold. Softly bend your knees. We'll take the right foot back. Your right knee will slide down to the mat. You can point your toes back, hug your inner thighs in. Press a little bit into the top of your right foot so you can release the pressure off your right knee. And your left hand can come to your left knee. Circle your right arm, reach forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Right hand reaches forward and up. Exhale, back and down. You can take one more big circle, forward and up. Back and down. Reach your right hand up and back and pause here. You can hold your back bend here. If you want to go a little deeper into your right hip, you can begin to reach your left hand towards the floor. Reach your right hand over the left side of your mat. I just watched my left knee pop out to the side, so that reminds me to tell you to hug the midline. A little hug from inner knee and sit bone. One more exhalation here. You'll inhale, lift yourself upright. Exhale, take your hands down to the mat, framing your left foot. You can tuck your right toes, lift your right knee, and as you exhale, step back to plank pose. You'll take it back to your plank pose and then lower. Maybe you come down to your knees, chest and chin. Maybe you come down to your knees and hover. You might come to your belly. You might be ready for Chaturanga Dandasana. When you inhale, find your back bend, and we'll hold our back bend. So I'm here in the Sphinx Pose, again, to protect my wrist. But you could be in Cobra, floating your elbows. You could be in Upward Dog with your wrists under your shoulders. No matter which back bend we're in, you're allowing your shoulders to draw back, heart to draw forward, base of your skull to draw back. We're creating length along the whole length of our spine. You can exhale and lower, and find your way back to downward facing dog. Nice. All right, so from your downward facing dog, you'll step your right foot a little forward, a little towards the midline. And you'll lift your left foot straight up and back. Nice. So now we're really trying to get into the back of our right leg. So you can let your right heel drop down. You can maybe let your right sitting bone lift up. Staying heavy in your grounded leg, lifting up through your left leg. We're trying to keep hips squared towards the mat, so you're really focusing on your right hamstrings. You might even press into your hands a little bit, get your weight back into your feet a little bit. As you exhale, you can take your left foot down, and your left foot will step a little forward, a little towards the midline of where you would normally place it for down dog, and then lift your right foot straight up and back. Work some internal rotation in both legs, upper inner thighs rolling up and back. That will help you to square your hips. Gorgeous. Let your left heel get as heavy as it can. There's a real tendency here to want to take the work out of the calf in your standing leg. And that might be lifting your heel. So if you let your heel drop down, it might get a little more intense in the grounding leg. See if you can be okay with that. Your next exhalation, take your foot back down towards the floor. You can stay here. If you like this shortened version of down dog, stay here. If you prefer to return to the version that feels a little more familiar, walking your feet back and a little wide, you could do that too. Let's take one more breath. Your next inhalation will lift your right foot once more. And with your exhalation, you'll hug your knee into your chest and place your right foot between your hands. Left knee comes down to the mat. Left toes will point back. Hug your inner thighs in, and we can circle left arm now. So you can bring your right hand to your right knee. You'll inhale, reach forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. One more big circle in your left arm, forward and up as you inhale. Back and down as you exhale. Your next in-breath, bring your left arm up, reach your fingertips away from your toes. Hug your ribs in, you can turn square, check in with your legs. There's a tendency for them to twist away from each other. Hug the midline. Then we can start to reach right hand down. Maybe your right hand reaches for the floor as your left hand reaches out over the right side of your mat. Gorgeous. Let's inhale and lift. Exhale, take your hands down to the mat. You can tuck your left toes. Lift your left knee and step forward. Half forward fold on your in-breath. Full forward fold on your out-breath. Inhale, rise all the way up, keeping the back of your neck long. Exhale, release your hands down by your sides. Step your feet to the width of your hips. Let's find center of gravity. You'll shift your center of gravity directly over the center of your right heel. So shifting over, and that will allow you to lift your left foot. Bend your left knee, reach back, grab your ankle, and then draw your knee back in underneath your hip. Tendency is here, as you reach back for your ankle, for the knee to pop out to the side. So when you grab the inner thigh, draw it in, draw your hip back, draw your shoulder back, draw your tailbone down. Your hip points are engaging towards your lower ribs as you pull your navel back towards your spine. We're not leaning forward yet. You're just drawing your left heel towards your left hip, lengthening that knee down and back, starting to get a little space in your left quads and your left hip flexors. You can exhale, release your left foot. And now root down through the center of your left heel. Center of gravity is right over the center of your left heel bone. You can pick up your right foot. You can reach back, grab your ankle, draw your knee in. Knee is under your hip. I'm going to switch hands here just for comfort in my injured hand. But it probably will work best for you to be hanging on to your right foot with your right hand. We'll draw right knee back, tailbone down, shoulders back, belly's hanging in. Lengthening your right quads and right hip flexors as you draw your right heel towards your right hip. Beautiful. You can release your right foot. Let's stand firmly down into both feet. And inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Bend your knees a little bit. Left foot will step back this time. Reaching out through your left heel, right knee slides forward, right over your right ankle. We'll keep the left knee lifted. Hug in towards the midline and pick up your fingers. And maybe reach your hands forward. And maybe reach your hands up. Belly is hugging in as you trail your fingertips across the ceiling. If it feels good, you could look up. We're really active in this back leg, lifting through the thigh, reaching through the heel, hugging your belly in as you slide your right knee forward, and you're continuing to hug the midline, internal rotation in both legs. Nice. As you exhale now, you can bow forward. Bring your hands down to the floor if you can, to blocks or books or supports if you need. We'll start to draw right hip back. You're drawing your right hip up and away from your right heel. And you're trying to keep the right side of your waist long. Tendency as we lift into this pose is for your tailbone to kind of swing out to the right and shorten your right waist. So let's see if you can just kind of turn your tailbone to point straight towards the wall behind you, and at the same time, stay anchored in the base of your right big toe. You'll notice if you lift your navel to your spine, you get a little more grounding in your left foot. Let's take one more exhalation here. You can inhale and lift. Take an exhalation here. And then as you inhale, sweep your right hand up and out to the side. So now we're in a variation of revolved triangle. But you have the freedom to square your hips completely because we're balancing on the left toes. So you have a little bit more rotational space for your spine here. We'll take one more breath. You can exhale, unwind your twist. Bend your front knee. As you inhale, step back to your plank pose. And as you exhale, flow through your version of the vinyasa, maybe to your belly, maybe to your knees, maybe shifting forward, chaturanga, upward dog on your in-breath. Gorgeous, downward dog on your out-breath. And pause here. You can take one more big inhalation, one more complete exhalation. As you inhale, you can lift your left foot straight up and back. As you exhale, shift forward, left knee into your chest, hug your belly in, left foot between your hands, high lunge, left foot forward. So now we're reaching out to the right heel. You're lifting right upper inner thigh, hugging inner thighs towards the midline. You can pick up your fingers, reach your hands forward, reach for the ceiling, trail your fingertips across the ceiling as we lift into the crescent lunge. So as you hold in your crescent lunge, it's kind of easy to feel the breath opening up in the front of your body. Can you also feel it in the back of your body? Can you feel it in your sides? Take one more big inhalation here. As you exhale, reach your hands down towards the floor. And we can start to lift left sitting bone up and away from left heel. So noticing where your tailbone is pointing, it may want to pull over to the left a little bit. Point your tailbone straight back as you lift your left sitting bone up and away from your left heel. Stay grounded in the base of your left big toe. Hug your belly in. That will help you anchor your right heel. And you can bow forward over your left leg. One more exhalation here. With your inhalation, lift yourself partway up. Begin exhale, hug belly towards spine, begin to twist, and your left hand can sweep up and overhead. So moving into revolved triangle variation, you're balanced on your right toes. And this gives you the freedom to keep your hips squared and maybe get a little more rotation in your spine. Spiraling from belly and ribs and chest and shoulders, extending one hand away from the other. Take one more breath in your revolved triangle variation. You can exhale, unwind that twist. As you inhale, you'll bend your front knee, rock forward, find your half forward fold, find your full forward fold. You can inhale and rise all the way up to standing. Exhale, release your hands back down by your sides. Center of gravity shifts over your right foot. Pick up your left foot. You can reach back, grab your ankle. Start to press your foot into your hands. Roll your shoulder back. Now, maybe lifting up into the dancer pose. So you're pressing your left foot into your left hand. You can reach your right hand up. This could be your pose. If anyone wants to go a little bit deeper, you can grab the inside of your ankle instead. So that's an external rotation in your left hand. You can grab your inner ankle. Keep pressing. Keep lifting up. We're lifting up, and now watch this hip. Left hip likes to roll up and over the right. So work your internal rotation, both legs. Hug your belly in. See if you can square your hips as much as possible. It can be helpful to micro bend your right knee here. Gives you a little bit more balance. Might give you a little bit more leeway to square your hips. Beautiful. You can inhale. Let's return to standing on both feet. And switch sides. Center of gravity will shift over your left foot. You'll root down. Let's pick up right foot. You can reach back, grab your ankle, and then start to press your foot into your hand. Maybe this is your pose. Maybe you flip this hand over, grab the inner ankle, and keep lifting. I'm actually going to switch hands just to protect my injured hand. But I want you to grab your right ankle with your right hand, and then press your foot into your hand and lift up. Think about extending up from the support of the standing leg. Gorgeous. Still breathing. Still balancing, maybe a micro bend in the knee of your standing leg. You can inhale and release. Exhale, stand back on both feet. Inhale, take your arms up and overhead. Exhale and fold. Inhale, you'll lift halfway. Keep your neck really long. Plant your hands, step or float back through Vinyasa. Your version, maybe to your knees, maybe your belly, maybe Chaturanga. Upward dog on your in-breath. That was beautiful control, you guys. Exhale, downward facing dog. Finding your downward facing dog. Next inhalation, lift your right foot straight up and back. This time, stack your right hip over your left. You can bend your right knee, start to pull your right heel towards your left hip. Check in with the left side of your waist. Lift your left sitting bone or left hip up and away from your left ribs. So that side of your waist stays long. If you'd like to bicycle your right leg around here, you could. If you'd like to bend and straighten your knee or circle your ankle. If you are a fan of back bend and you would like to pivot over into wild thing, you could flip your dog right over here. Oh, nice. Beautiful. If you flipped into the wild thing, you'll flip back over, back to three-legged down dog. When you exhale, shift forward, hug your right knee into your chest, and you'll place your right foot down between your hands. So let's slide left knee down to the floor. Point your toes back, hug your belly in, and we'll draw right hip back and away from right heel. So you might be here, hands on the floor on either side of your right foot, a little more intense to flex your right toes up towards the ceiling. So you can be here. If you want to challenge your balance, you can tuck your left toes, walk yourself back, and sit all the way down onto your left heel. Most challenging for the balance would be to walk your hands forward, hang onto your right foot, and stay here. So we're getting the Ardha Hanumanasana, half split, a little toe stretch and core work. One more exhalation here. You can inhale and rock forward. Release your left toes if they were tucked. And let our right toes now angle out towards the front right corner of your mat. You can even walk your right foot slightly wide so we can really extend into left hip. And this might be your pose, moving toward lizard pose. Lots of extension in the left hip, a little external rotation in the right. You could be here. You could also turn this into a twist, maybe turning to the right. You could bring this into the outside of your right hip by flexing your right foot and allowing yourself to roll into the outer edge of the right foot. We want to make sure right foot is flexed here. This can put some pressure on your knee. So keep your right foot flexed to stabilize your knee. You could even reach back, grab your left foot with your right hand, and start to draw your heel towards the outside of your right hip. Beautiful. You can inhale, unwind, walk hands back to the floor. You can walk your right foot back in, tuck your left toes, lift your knee. You'll press back to downward facing dog, and it might feel really good to draw some circles in your hip. So whatever you need to relieve some of the tension in your right hip, relieve some fatigue, you can rock it around one way, rock it around the other. Releasing your right foot back down to the mat. You'll inhale and lift your left. And then stack your hips and bend your knee, pulling left heel towards right hip, maybe circling ankle, circling hip. You could bicycle your leg, you could bend and straighten your knee. Nice. If you would like to flip this over into wild thing, you have that opportunity. You can pivot, step it over, lift your heart, enjoy the back bend. Beautiful extension. When you exhale, you'll flip it back over, three-legged down dog. Take a breath. Next exhalation brings the left foot forward between your hands. You can slide your right knee down to the mat, Ardha Hanumanasana on the other side. Squaring your hips, hands can reach for the floor. We'll start to draw left sitting bone up and away from left heel. Hinging deeply in your left hip, and we're looking for extension in the back of the left leg. You can try flexing your toes up towards the ceiling. This will intensify a little bit. You could stay here, working with the back of the leg. You could try tucking your right toes, walk back, sit all the way onto your right heel. Maybe hands walk forward towards left foot. Maybe you hug your belly in, catch the balance, and hang on to your left foot with both hands. Nice. You can take one more exhalation here. As you inhale, rock forward, release your right toes. You can give them a wiggle, maybe pat them down onto the mat. Moving into lizard pose on the left. Your left foot can scoot a little forward, a little out to the left. You can angle your toes towards the front left corner of your mat and move into deep extension in your right hip. Your left knee is tracking over your left middle toe. This could be your pose. You could try twisting it. Left hand can come to left knee as you rotate. You can move into external rotation in your left hip. Flex your foot, that will stabilize your knee. Knee can drop out to the side. Maybe you get a little more extension in the right hip. You could stay here. You could bring your right thigh into the picture by bending your right knee, reaching back to grab your right foot, and you'll draw your right heel towards your left hip. Beautiful. Let's take one more exhalation. You'll inhale, unwind. Work your hands back to the floor. You can walk your left foot back in line with your left hip. Tuck your right toes, lift your right knee, step back to your three-legged down dog, and make any counter movements that would feel good to you. Maybe shifting hips side to side, maybe circles, whatever you need. Return to your downward facing dog. Take a big inhalation. Take a full exhalation. You can inhale forward to hands and knees. When you exhale, sit back into a wide-kneed child's pose. Your arms could be out in front of you if you like. Your hands could be back beside you if you like. Give yourself, let's say, 3 breaths. 3 slow, deep breaths so that your hips rest and unwind a little bit to settle into this shape. To check in with how you feel in your body and your mind. When you feel ready, you can walk your way up and out of your child's pose. All right, so we have a fighting chance now of moving into full Hanumanasana, the full split. I'm going to invite you to bring your right foot forward. If you need a little padding under your left knee, you could do that. I like to come into the lunge first. I'm going to hug my inner thighs in, slide into the lunge. And often I'll teach this with blocks under our hands. That may not be an option for you today. So you may have to reach down to the floor, and that's okay. You can get your hands down onto something, and then we begin to inch the right leg forward. Maybe we inch the left leg back. You can flex your right toes up towards the ceiling. And slide your way to your split. We really want to hug in towards the midline here. There's a tendency to twist open to the left, and that can be quite hard on your SI joints. So we want to be centered on the top of left knee, centered on the top of left foot, scissoring your thighs in, trying to come as much forward and back as possible. And maybe you stay here, hands on the floor. Maybe you've got a support under your hip. If you feel stable, you could reach your arms up and take your mighty leap across the ocean with your hands in the air. Beautiful. As you exhale, if your hands are raised, bring them back down. We'll inch our way back out of this pose. Inching left knee forward, inching right foot back. Step back to all fours. Give yourself some hip circles. Give yourself a child's pose, cat and cow, whatever it is you might need. That's a big pose. So give yourself a counter pose that brings relief and rest. Ah, lovely. All right, headed to leap back across the ocean, left foot first this time. So you can take your left foot forward into your lunge. Sliding left thigh forward, right thigh back, hug the midline. We want to come straight forward and back, hips as squared as possible. You'll reach down, maybe to blocks, maybe to the floor. And we start to inch left foot forward, maybe slide right leg back. Flex your left foot. I'm noticing a big difference between sides this afternoon. You may notice the same thing. That's okay. You can hug in towards the midline, roll your shoulders back, maybe stay here. You want to be centered on your right knee, top of your right foot. If you've got support, you could float your arms up. Take your mighty leap across the ocean with your arms extended. If your arms are raised, you'll exhale them back down towards the floor, and we'll work our way out of the pose. Sliding left foot back, sliding right knee forward. You'll step back to all fours, and again, find your counter pose. Maybe a cobra pose, maybe a child's pose, maybe hip circles, whatever would feel good to you after that big posture. Let's all find our way back to child's pose. You may want to take your knees wide under your shoulders and get a little release in your hips. You may want to take your knees narrow under your chest and get more length in your spine. Personal choice. Next inhalation, walk your way up to kneeling. And you can shift your hips to one side, take your feet out in front of you. Plant the soles of your feet on the floor. Hug your belly in. From here, let's roll down onto our backs, and we'll try to come down slow. So coming down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Resting down onto your back. Once you get here, walk your feet in a little closer. Take them the width of your mat and lean your knees towards each other. Passive release now for your hips. This internal rotation, feet wide, knees together, getting some release and relief for everything we stretched out today. And somewhere in your next breath or two, walk your feet together and let your knees drop out to the side. And we'll take 3 slow, deep breaths here, inviting your breath all the way down into your belly. Finally, you can take your hands to the outside of your knees or thighs and use your hands to help your legs draw towards each other. Really hug your belly back towards your spine and pick your feet up. See if you can bring your knees right over your hips. All right, now drop your lower front ribs, lift your head and shoulders off the mat. Reach the soles of your feet now up towards the ceiling. We're going to go through a little core series here. We've done lots of stretching for our hips, and I want to stabilize the musculature of the low belly and the hips. So we'll take an exhalation, reach up towards your toes. Now bend your knees, reach forward towards your feet. Take your feet wide, take your knees wide, exhale, reach through. Bring your knees back together. You'll reach your right hand past your left thigh. Inhale back to center, reach your left hand past your right thigh. Inhale back to center, reach your feet up, exhale, reach up. Inhale, bend your knees, exhale, reach forward. Inhale, take your knees wide, exhale, reach through. Inhale. Inhale, take your knees together. Exhale, reach left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, reach right. Inhale, reach your feet for the ceiling. Exhale, reach up. Inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, reach forward. Inhale, take your knees wide. Exhale, reach through. Inhale, knees together. Exhale, reach left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, reach right. One more round. Inhale, reach your feet up. Exhale, hands up. Inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, reach forward. Inhale, knees come wide. Exhale, reach through. Inhale, knees together. Exhale, reach left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, reach right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, head and shoulders back to the floor. Release your feet back to the floor. Once more, feet wide, knees lean in, and pause. Once more, feet can come together, knees can drop out to the side, and pause. You can reach your hands down to the outside of your knees or thighs. Use that little boost from your hands to let your legs draw towards each other. We'll keep our knees touching. Walk your feet wider than your hips, but not as wide as your mat. We're going to get a little finessey here. So we're going to keep our feet wide, knees together. Squeeze your knees in. We'll start to move our knees over to the right. And as you move your knees to the right, try to trace the inside of your right shin with your left knee. Keep a little contact. Yes, that's it. Bring your knees back up towards the ceiling. And then knees will move over to the left. And as you do that, your right knee traces the inside of your left shin down from knee to ankle. And you'll inhale and bring your knees back up. So we're not just flopping knees to one side and then the other. You're keeping some action in your inner thighs. What we're doing here is waking up some of those deep postural muscles in your low back and deep in your hips to help re-stabilize everything that we stretched with that big jump across the ocean. So when we've done this an equal number of times to each side, now we can let gravity assist us in the twist. The next time your knees come over to the right, let them drop all the way down towards the floor. Your right knee's coming toward the mat, your left knee's coming towards your right foot or your right inner ankle. Your left hip probably just came up and off the floor. And you can hang out here if it feels good. You can turn your head to the right. You can even pick up your right foot and place it on the outside of your left knee for some leverage. Just be aware that sometimes the weight of this foot can put pressure on your left inner knee. So if that does not feel good, you don't have to put it there. You can leave your right foot on the floor. Now we'll release into this twist as much as possible, surrendering effort, surrendering control, following breath. When you feel ready to switch sides, you can take your right foot back to the floor off the outside of your left knee. You'll inhale to return to your center position and exhale, knees to the left, head can turn right. You'll let your right hip come right up and off the floor. Left knee drops down towards the mat. This could be your pose if you'd like to twist a little more deeply and it feels safe for your right knee. You might pick up your left foot and place the outer edge of left foot to the outside of right knee. Just be aware of any odd sensation, unsafe sensation in your right medial knee, the inside of your knee. If that doesn't feel good, you can leave your left foot on the floor. Now being with breath here. What does it feel like holding this twist to concentrate on breath in the sides and the back of your body as well as in the front? Finally, you can uncross your left foot from the outside of your right knee. You can inhale to bring yourself back to central neutral position. And now just notice what you might need as the completion of your practice. Maybe Apanasana, rocking knees in and out. Maybe Ananda Balasana, happy baby pose, grabbing your feet, rocking side to side. If you are comfortable in plow or shoulder stand and that feels like where you would want to go, you might want to go to a plow or a shoulder stand. There may be something I haven't even mentioned that is exactly the right movement for you right now. So you can make the movement that will complete your practice. We've got about 5 breaths left. And if you are ready to find Shavasana, you can come straight into your relaxation pose. Let yourself get as comfortable as you can. You can shift your shoulders around. You can extend your arms out to the side. You can place the soles of your feet on the floor. You can extend your legs long. Just find the position that feels the most nourishing to you. And surrender here. Take a moment to feel the back of your body and the contact that you have with the floor beneath you. Allow each exhalation to sink downward into the floor beneath you. Maybe settle you a little deeper into your relaxation, like you're nestling into a comfortable bed or into warm, soft sand, cradled by the earth beneath you. With each exhalation, maybe a little more of your back body touches the mat. With each exhalation, you can let go of everything you've loosened and burned up with this practice and let it sink down into the floor beneath you with your breath, clearing space. As you let go of everything that's no longer serving you, letting it wash through your back body into the earth takes that and recycles it and returns it to you as prana, as vitality, as life force. So now noticing the flow of the inhalation. Inhalation drawing into your body, spreading warmth and light and space all the way to the tips of your fingers and the tips of your toes. As it feels good to you, you can intentionally and intelligently expand your breath. More complete exhalations, fuller, more vibrant inhalations. And as your breath deepens and expands, the energy that animates your body will reawaken. And you'll feel a desire to move. When you feel that desire to move, honor it. Fingers and toes can start to wiggle, hands and feet can start to move, arms and legs can reawaken. Oh, there's no right or wrong here, but find the movements that feel delicious, luxurious even, as you wake yourself up. And eventually those movements can carry you to one side. You'll rest for a few moments on your side. This is your opportunity to transition from deep relaxation back to meeting the outer world. So pause and notice and breathe. When you are ready to come up to sitting, use the strength of your arms. Help yourself up. Return to a comfortable seat. We'll just rest here in our comfortable seat for a few moments. If it feels good to you, you can place the backs of your hands on your knees and touch thumbs and index fingers together, extending the other 3 fingers out. A little dropping of the chin, a little lifting of the soft palate. Ujjayi Mudra, gesture of meditation, gesture of wisdom. An opportunity for reflection. What's here now? Sensations in body, flow of breath, activity of mind, awareness of the space that surrounds you. You can be curious about what this moment brings. And finally, with your next inhalation, turn your palms out to the side. You can reach your arms up and overhead. As you exhale, you'll bring your palms down the midline of your body to your heart, Anjali Mudra, gesture of greeting and of respect and of gratitude. We'll close our practice with the sound of Om. You are welcome to join me if you wish. If it feels better to you to sit and listen, feel free to sit and listen. If you'd like to join, we'll inhale together and then begin. Thank you all so much for sharing your practice. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And namaste. Nice work, everyone.
Thank you.